Hello everyone. Today we are going to look at how to create a greeting card, a birthday greeting card using Scratch. So choose a backdrop of choice. I'll choose stripes. First of all, I'll delete the card sprite and I'll go to backdrops. I'll delete this plain white backdrop because I want just the stripes backdrop. I'll duplicate the stripes backdrop several times. So I have 6 backdrops, 1 2 3 4 5 6. So what I want to do now is to write several birthday wishes on these backdrops. So I'll start with the first backdrop and write something. So to type, you're going to click on text. Say you are wishing someone whose name is Rose a happy birthday. So Rose, you can start by saying, Rose, today is your day. Now to enlarge what you have written, click on these dotted lines. This thicker one will appear. Drag to increase the font size. So to center, click down on this plus sign and center what you have written out. So today is your day. As you celebrate your birthday today, may your life be filled with joy, happiness and prosperity. So I want to write some code to switch between these lights. First of all, I'll go to the event palette, drag out the when flag clicked. So when I start my project, I want the first backdrop, which is stripes, to show up. So I'll go to looks and switch backdrop to the first backdrop, which is stripes. Now next thing is to switch between the other 6 backdrops. I have 7 backdrops. I've brought out the first backdrop, so I'm left with 6 other backdrops that I want to switch between. The code block I'm going to use is the next backdrop. Bring it out. Now if I click on next backdrop, what you notice is that the backdrop switches to the next backdrop. As I click on it, it switches to the next backdrop as I click on it. So what I want to do is to make it happen automatically. So I'll go to control and repeat the process of switching between the backdrops 6 times. So I'll drag out the repeat block and change 10 to 6. So if I click on the repeat block, see that something is happening actually. If you check the backdrops, it is switching very fast between the backdrops. So to slow that process down, I'm going to go to control again and drag out the wait block. So the wait block makes the switching between backdrops happen slowly. So if I click on the repeat block, see what happens. The backdrop switches continuously but slowly, unlike before I put in the wait block. So without the wait block, the switching happens very fast. So I'm waiting for 1 second before switching to the next backdrop, but it's still too fast. I'll make it 5 seconds. Okay, so that the recipient of this birthday card will take his or her time to read it. So I'll join these 2 blocks together. Don't forget that my goal is to make the first backdrop, which is Rose, today is your day, to show up. That's the first thing that should show up, followed by the others sequentially. So I'll go back to the code menu and I'll click on the green flag and let's see what happens. Now if you click on the green flag, see what happens. I'll stop it and click again. It goes straight to as you celebrate your birthday, may your life be filled with. So it doesn't start from where I want it to start from. Rows, today is your day. So the issue there is that you are going to it's executing these two codes at the same time, switching to the first backdrop and switching to the rest of the backdrop. So I want to switch to the first backdrop, wait a bit before showing the rest of the backdrops. So that's what will make this work now. So click on the green flag and let's see what happens. Rose, today is your day. As you can see, I'm getting Rose, today is your day as my first background or backdrop. So I want to increase the period in which it's going to wait and switch to the next backdrop for 5 seconds, so the viewer can take some time to read the message. So click on the green flag and see what happens. Rose, today is your day. As you celebrate your birthday, may your life be filled with joy, happiness. I think it's too much. Let's make it 2 seconds or 3, 4. Let's make it 4 seconds. So now what the next thing I want to do is that I want to add a background sound or music. If you have a happy birthday song, you can add it to your project. So click on sound. I have a sound on my laptop. To choose a sound from Scratch has so many sounds you can use, so just click on choose a sound. There is animal sound, effect sound, loops, notes, sounds that has to do with percussion, space, sports, sounds that has to do with voice, wacky sounds also. So but I have a sound I want to use. I have a song I want to use, so I'll go to choose a sound and I would click on upload sound. I have a sound on my laptop I want to use. I'll click on it and click on open. So it's importing. Now this sound, this default sound there is the default sound. I don't need it, so I will just delete it. This is the sound I need. So that's the sound. To include the sound in your project, go to code. You want to include the sound, immediately you click the green flag. So go to events, drag out the when flag clicked, go to sound, drag out play sound until done. So that's what we want to achieve. We want to play the sound until it finishes playing. So that will make the sound to play throughout the slides, throughout the backdrops. So you can also add some decorations to your greeting card. Let's choose a balloon sprite. Choose a balloon sprite or several balloons. So click on the balloon. So I need, say, 4 balloons. I need like 4 balloons. Now these balloons actually have different costumes. You can see it has 3 costumes. The first costume is blue in color, second is yellow in color, the third is purple in color. So I would see how I can switch between this costume. But first I'll write a code for balloon 1. When I'm done, I'll copy the code for the other 3 balloons. So when I start the project, when the green flag is clicked, I want the balloon, I'm starting with the first balloon. I want the balloon to continuously go to a random position. That has to do with movement. So I'll go to motion, the motion palette, drag out the go to random position block. I want the balloon to go to a random position every time. So that has to do with control forever. I want it to go to a random block forever, all the time. So if I click on the when flag clicked, you can see that the balloon moves forever to a random position, but it's happening too fast. The wait block comes to our rescue again. Click on control and place the wait block under the go to random position to slow it down. So the switching to random positions is slowed down now to 1 seconds. Let's make it 0.2 seconds. Okay, so but the balloons will be a blockage to the birthday wishes we have written out. So you need to give your balloon a ghost effect. You find that in the looks block. So go down and you see change color by color effect by, but instead of color you want to choose the ghost effect to make the balloon transparent. So change ghost effect by, let's say, no, I don't need that. What I need is the set. You want to set it ab initio. When you start the project, the balloon should be transparent, so at the start of the project. So set ghost effect to, you want it to be transparent as much as possible so that the viewer can see what you have written on the backdrop. So I want it to be that way when I start the project. So when I click on the green flag, see what happens. So you can see that the balloon is transparent and it moves from one random position to the other. Let's make it 50. Let's make the effect, the transparent effect, to be 50. Okay, so as you can see, so I'm going to write, when I'm done writing this code, I'm going to copy this code to the other 3 balloons so that they would behave the same way this particular balloon is behaving. If I want the balloons to switch between costumes, I'll go to, I said it has 3 costumes, so I'll go to the next costume block, I'll drag out the next costume block and see that whenever I start the project, so always write your project piecemeal in pieces to avoid confusion. So you can write it in pieces. This is the next piece now I want to write. Whenever I start the project, I want to switch to the next costume all the time, and that should be under control all the time. Has to do with the forever block. So all the time I want to switch between the next costume, and I want to wait a bit before switching to the next costume. So I'll go to control again and drag out the wait block and place it under the next costume. So let's click on this particular one to test it, this block. As you can see, the balloon switches between costumes, changes its color every time, continuously, forever. So I'm going to do the same for other ones, but it's not a must you actually create a new piece of code for this. You can actually drag out the main thing you need here. The forever block is here already, so you can drag this into, you don't need the wait block, that's a wait block here already. So every time it goes to a random position, you want the costume to switch to the next costume. So that is okay like that. You don't need all this. So I'm going to copy this code and place it inside. To copy a code into another sprite, you drag it and place it on top of that sprite like this, so it will be copied into it. Drag it again, copy into the second one, drag it again and copy into the fourth one. The 3 remaining balloons now have the same code that I wrote for the first one. You can enlarge your project by clicking on this full screen icon. So let's enlarge it and click the green flag to play it. As you can see, the balloons are moving to random positions. Okay, so that's our project, but the issue here is that I want to change something a bit. Whenever the balloon switch to a different costume, it switches to the same colored costume. As you can see, all blue at the same time, all yellow at the same time, all purple at the same time. So I can change that a bit to make the colors to be different every time there's a switch to the next costume. So what you want to do is that you want to, for example, click on the first balloon to adjust the code for that one. You want to go to looks and specify that you want a particular costume to show up first. So drag out the switch to costume, place it on top, place it after the when flag clicked. It can be under the set ghost effect to 50. So whenever you start a project, don't forget we have 3 costumes. The first costume is balloon 1A, second is balloon 1B, third is balloon 1C. So I want, for example, the first balloon to start with balloon 1A costume, second balloon to start with balloon 1B costume, third one should start with balloon 1C costume, to make the balloons not to have the same color whenever they switch costumes. So whenever I start the project, I want to start with the first costume, which is a 1A costume, with a bit for the usual 0.2 seconds we are using before going to the next costume. 0.2. So this same code we have written here, do the same adjustment to the other balloons. Balloon 2. For balloon 2 also, I want to switch to go to looks, switch to the next costume, which is what, balloon 1AB, and I want to wait 0.2 seconds before switching to the other costumes. 0.2. So I'll do the same thing to the third one. But I want to drag out switch costume again, this time around to 1C, then wait 0.2 seconds before switching to the other costumes. Now for the fourth one, I don't need to adjust the fourth one. Enlarge your project and start it all over again and see what happens. Okay, so that's our project. So until next time.